Antonella, who's there, who's joining us this time from Gyan Sarovar. And let me just stop sharing the screen, and if you can spotlight Sister Anu. So thank you so much, Sister Antonella, for joining. And let me just take a few more minutes before I give it to you. So
Sure.
thanks. So Sister Antonella has joined us for the first time. And all of you have seen that she's from Italy. She's a part of the national coordinating team there. And let me give you a brief history about her. That she was actually studying Japanese, the Oriental language and culture in Italy, and then she went to Japan. And where in 1988, she came across the teachings of Brahma Kumaris. And I mean, by profession, she was actually running a successful fashion business in Sardinia, which is another part of Italy. And then after that, her life really changed. And then she got inspired a lot by the BK. She'll be telling her that journey of her on her own. And after that, there's no looking back. So it's almost more than 30, 35 years she's into this and serving the entire region of Italy, particularly the parts of Bologna and Milan. So as always, I had actually met her in 2019, so we came to know each other that way. Let me just as always, say a few lines for her. So we have with us Sister Antonella, who serves the country of Italy, who's instrumental for promoting the living values activities literally. Being in the fashion business and learning the Japanese language lyrically, she set on this spiritual journey quite fast as being in a rally. And she says, let's ignore the past and count our blessings as a tally. So let's try to do that. And a few lines on positivity. So today she shall share her thoughts on positivity. Her words of wisdom shall reflect her brevity and creativity. And we can then speed up, not tending to worry about relativity. Because now I'm in the flying stage, far away from the pull of gravity. By connecting with each other, we can increase our conductivity. And that's what Raj Yoga teaches us, so that with one another, we develop spiritual connectivity and make this world a better place to live in with each one's cooperative activity. So with this, I would now pass it on to Sister Antonella, and it's all yours. So we'll be having 50-55 minutes talk, and after that, maybe a few questions. If you all have, please send me your questions, and then the closing meditation. So thank you once again for joining.
Thanks to you so much. And I'm very happy to be with all of you tonight. And yes, I'm in Gyan Sarovar, the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris, so in one of the most wonderful places in the world. And I heard Roger Cole talk, and I was very inspired. Thank you, Manoj Bhai, for a beautiful recap of that talk. And thanks to everybody for the sharing that happened till now. So positivity is an incredible topic. And lately, within the COVID period, to be positive wasn't very good. It was better to be negative. So that was really weird to say to people, I'm not positive, I'm negative, that was safer. But it was an incredible expression that was really kind of upside down. But when do we become really negative? What happened to us when we express negativity rather than positivity, which is our innate nature? And I was actually questioning myself, asking and I asked to you too, what do you think the world is more negative or more positive right now? Because if we see the surface and the condition of the world is surely there is so much violence, so much corruption, so much suffering. And well, I come from Europe where there is a war going on, which is quite impressive. And so we could say definitely the world is very negative. It's lacking, the basic values. But thinking deeper, I think the world expresses negativity very well, because this is what we see, this is what we experience on a daily basis. And yet, deep down, as we know, as a spiritual awareness, the world is probably on, as a percentage, I would say is more positive, percentage-wise, because it's like each one of us has it rooted a core of goodness. And even though we might express the worst of the self sometime, often for some people, sometime for other people, yet that core self is there. The goodness never fade away. It's only forgotten, hidden, but it's still there. And for example, we might say a bad word to somebody or do a mistake, and then we repent, and then we say, why did I say that? It was not positive at all. Or why did I do that? It wasn't good at all. And or we might get upset with somebody and then later repent about that and go back to the best of the self, feeling maybe forgiveness or compassion, or anyway coming again to a state of harmony or balance. So I would say there are two energies. One is very negative, destructive, destroying balances of life. And the other is a positive, restoring energy, leading us through an awareness, a journey of awareness. And those two energies are moving fast, both of them. So a kind of destruction, violence, negative energy, very visible, very tangible, is definitely there. But on the other side, the positive energy is also very, very present. And, inviting us to bring back up the best of the self. So I would ask myself, how distant am I from the core self? And the more I reduce the distance, the more positive I become. And we went so far from the nucleus, that being a soul conscious in a way, but we went so far into periphery. And the more we go further and further away, making a lot of mistakes, creating karma. And Roger mentioned about karma quite a bit. So the more we become upset with the self, the more we will blame people because we can't face our own shortcomings, and creating even more karma. And we become more and more negative. But how distant am I from the core self, where within the sacred space I hold an eternal love, eternal peace, eternal joy. It's all there. It never disappeared. And for me, this is an incredible principle, spiritual principle. It's an incredible awareness that lead me back to be positive again, and to make it shorter in terms of time when I might express negativity, because being realistic, none of us is perfect. We are in the process of becoming better and better, as complete as we can, but we do daily some mistakes. I guess it's for everyone. And what do I do when I make a mistake, or when I just express something that I don't like about myself? So how long does it take to revise, reset, restore my positivity? Because that will make the difference. How long does it take to go back to my centered, to restore my balance? And that could be also part of a kind of a homework, to just check the self. How distant am I from my core self on a daily basis? When things are happening, people are attacking me, I encounter things that happen suddenly, and how long does it take to be re-centered? Because that kind of stability, I think, is more and more essential to remain positive. So I do believe we are basically so positive, so great, so powerful. We lose that state, we get lost somewhere. And how long does it take to go back to my positivity, to my goodness, to my balance, to my stable state of being? To blame people, for example, is something that will bring me quite far, which is something that we might do daily. Is that right? Does it happen to you that you get into conflict, condemning people, pointing the finger to somebody, and becoming hypercritical, and then, of course, getting lost in so many waste thoughts? These will end up in being tired, exhausted, breaking the harmony of relationship, dependency, emotional dependency, and so many other negative traits. Do you know the etymology of negativity? It's a Latin word. Negative, nega, means to deprive the self. And so I deprive myself to the ability to express the best of me. So I just deprive myself of being the best of my being, of myself. But how do I sustain the muscle of positivity? How is the feeling inside when I am positive? So how do I sustain my positivity, and how do I feel when I am positive? It's just a beautiful feeling of having done the right things at the right time. I heard often people having this comment like, it's easy to be positive when nothing happened, but be positive when something happened or nothing works. How can I be positive when everything around myself collapses, or when I face a major issue on a health level, relationship level, economical level. Now, in Europe, I don't know in this part of the country, of the world, but in Europe, there is this big issue of bills going up consistently, energy, gas. So how do we remain positive, facing big issue? For me, positivity is a way of interpreting life, because we can have different approach to the same situation, for example. Like, I remember the story of two ladies. I like stories. I will tell few within this chit chat. So it's a story of a lady receiving a phone call from a husband, and it's already late evening, and the husband says, I will not come back home soon for dinner because, I got stuck in the office. Don't wait for me. I will be coming quite late, but I really need to finish work. And down the phone. So the wife thought, it's the second time this week he's not coming home for dinner. He says he's in the office working, but, maybe he's doing something else. He doesn't care about the family. He doesn't even bother to come back home for lunch, for dinner. Maybe he has a different relationship, kind of affairs. And he start, this negative spinning. Negative thoughts are like a quick spinning of energy. And can you imagine when the husband will arrive at home in the evening, what kind of non-welcoming energy he will find? And second option, second woman. Sorry? Sorry, is some regarding?
No, I think it was someone was not muted, so we are muted. Sorry for that.
No, it's okay, no problem. So you can imagine the non-welcoming approach to their husband in the evening. Second option, another lady, same situation, the husband phone, I'm not coming back home for dinner. I have to stay in the office, so much work, I'm so sorry, but I can't really help this. And the woman and the wife will say, don't really worry, I can understand, just don't be stressed. And she hang the phone and think, oh, I have such a good husband, he's caring so much for his family, sustaining us so well that it's the second time this week he doesn't come back. I really feel concerned. So a completely different approach. But of course, the background of each of them was different. The first lady, thinking in a non-trusting way, she had some betrayal in the previous relationship. And so she was filtering, interpreting this event with that kind of feeling. I could be betrayed again. So the past was impacting the present. The second wife, the second lady, she had a father that was working like mad to sustain the family. So she was having the husband and perceiving the husband with that filter, with that past experience. So this is to say that if I want to keep a positive view, a positive approach to life, I need to become a good interpreter. A good interpreter renew constantly and clean the mind in order to be fully available for the new thing to interpret. So a practice is very important. The practice to clean your heart from the weight of the past. Because if I approach the present with the weight of the past, I will interpret things with that kind of experience. And I won't be able to enjoy the present. And of course, we know that we all come from many births where everything happened. But am I able, with the awareness of today, with the awareness of the law of karma, to clean my heart and to practice on a daily basis a very beautiful exercise that I think it goes online with what you share in the workshop previously. And that is to sometime during the day, take 10 minutes, even more, even better, to create the vibration of benevolence, good wish, pure feelings from the heart. It's something that we say all the time, but doesn't mean we do it, and often enough to clean my heart. And when we take some time out, and there are no excuses to say I don't have time, actually, because we do have enough time, as much as we need to grow, need to reposition ourselves in the best way we can. So on a daily basis, to be able to just take a few moments and share a good feeling with whoever. It's just a healing energy in giving out this kind of energy, benevolent, pure feelings. I do heal myself from whatever past. I don't even need to know what happened in my past, because sometimes we remove things. Sometimes we block them down, or sometimes we definitely don't know them, other life. But I just need to give this kind of vibration, to create them, to share them, like a lighthouse, like somebody that is really willing to build bridges of harmony. And in my experience, I found this kind of practice daily, short but constant, very healing. When we heard very often people say, I've got some trauma, I've been having some violence, and it's, that thought keep coming back in their mind. But if I keep entertaining that experience from the past, I will be stuck. And I can tell you by experience that I need to really bypass the thoughts of being a victim. I need to just face that I settled my karma, I've paid my bill, and now I want to move forward, healing the heart and make it as large as possible. If I really want to be positive, I have to create a positive karma. This for me is essential. If I want to be positive, I need to create a positive karma. And when I sow positivity, that's the seed I will sow, then I will reap opportunity. opportunity of a variety of level, then I will become less worried about life. It's so comfortable not to worry. It's actually a great release not to worry. But not to worry, it's an achievement. Carefree is such an incredible achievement. But I need to sow the seeds of positivity as much as I can all day long. And we have tons of opportunity to do it. From smiling to somebody, from doing even mundane little action, or saying good positive words, acknowledging people goodness, praising somebody when he deserves it. But what do I need to sow if I want to reap abundance that will make myself positively happy? You know, people, when they do worry about various issues, they are not so positive. They become closed, tense, stressed, with anxiety. So what do I need to sow in order to reap abundance? And of course, the verb that makes a big difference is giving. And I am in a place right now in Montabu where giving seems in the blood of everybody. In every aspect, they're giving. So it's so easy to think about giving here because, and this is a great example that when you give, you inspire people to give. Giving begets giving. That means positivity begets positivity. And it becomes an example for people to follow. And this is also creating good karma. But remember a story, I don't know if you know it already, the story of a lady, again a lady, that she was in a family of philanthropists. People love giving. Then she got married and she went to live in the family, you know, the family of her husband. And the father-in-law and the mother-in-law were pretty different. They were very miserly, not really giving at all. And one day, so she was feeling quite uncomfortable. It wasn't in her way. She didn't grow up in that way. So anyway, they were having lunch with the beautiful meals on the table. But it was India, open windows, and a beggar under the window begging for food. So she went to the window, bent towards the beggar and said, "You know what? We cannot give you anything because we are eating leftover and very soon we will be a beggar like you. We can't give you anything." And then she went back to the table and the father-in-law was very shocked. It was such a wonderful meal, you know, rich and abundant. And he looked at the daughter-in-law saying, "What are you talking about? Is this a leftover?" And the girl said, "Yes, we are eating the leftover of your good karma of yesterday. But because we are not giving out anything today, tomorrow we won't have anything, like the beggar." And I like this story very much because in essence, it's talking about karma. So if I really want to be positive, I need to create a positive karma. That's so basic, but so real. So a question, what kind of karma have I created today? From major things maybe to very tiny things, like having a good thought for somebody. Just a good wish, or being available, or having given some time to listen to somebody's story. And another principle for positivity is that everything is beneficial. Everything that happens holds some benefit for us, even when it doesn't look so beneficial, but yet it does carry either a teaching, a learning for me, or a karma to settle. But in both ways, it's beneficial. And many, many years ago, my first journey to the Brahma Kumaris headquarters, I was watching a cultural program, what is happening sometime here in the evening. Some people were dancing, some people were singing, some people were having a skit. And there were two boys, young boys, maybe, well, teenagers. And they did a skit, a sketch on the stage. And I still remember that because it was so impactful for me as a story that they were, having as a little drama, that I've been using that story ever since when I do the positive thinking course, which, by the way, is one of the courses which is more requested by people, the positive thinking course. And I usually start that course with this story to set the tone of the idea that everything that happened carries a benefit for the self, whether I see it today or not, but eventually I will understand it. And the sketch those two little boys did on the stage was talking about a king and an advisor. The king and the advisor, a very wise advisor of the king, went for hunting in the bush. And eventually the king got a little pain on the finger, and the blood was coming out through a tree. So he was bleeding. And then he asked the advisor his typical question. He said, "Why am I having this pain? Why am I having this bad experience?" And the advisor replied with his most common response. He said, "Your Highness, everything that happened is good, is beneficial." And the king couldn't see any benefit in being cut and bleeding. So he looked at the advisor and said, "What are you talking about? This is not, how can you say it's beneficial?" And he got so upset. He sent the advisor back to the castle in the prison. And he carried on in the bush by himself. Can you imagine somebody being just upset, full of ego, like you were mentioning before, alone? And he went on, and eventually he got into a tribe. They were having their sacrificial moment, and actually they were looking for a good sacrifice to put in the hot water pot and sacrifice to their deities or whatever. So the king was big enough, good sacrifice. So he got caught and put in a hot pot. But the man there, the wizard, I don't know how to call it, saw that he was bleeding. And blood is equal to impurity. So it wasn't good enough. So they threw him away. And he saved himself. So he went back to the castle, mortified, with the advisor. He was right. Everything that happened was beneficial. So he went to the advisor and said, I'm really, really sorry. You were right. Everything that happened is beneficial. I'm saved because of this cut. And the advisor replied, Your Highness, you don't have to worry nor to feel sorry, because everything that happened is really beneficial. If I was with you, you know what happened? It would have been in the pot. So I really love this story because it indicates that if I see everything that happened with the right perspective, with the right glasses, then I will understand the secrets of karma and the importance of learning what qualities, what virtue, what power do I need to express to be able to face whatever issue comes on my way. Because we are not free from problems. Yet I can see a problem huge, small, medium, extra small, and practice, which is very useful at this point, is to be a detached observer, which goes very much along with the understanding of karma. Being just a detached observer, that means taking a space of time for me to understand what is going on. You know, because nothing happened by chance. It's got its own reason, its own meaning. So am I able to understand why is this happening to me? Understand it and process it in a positive way inside. When I'm a detached observer, detachment itself has an incredible effect that is bringing me right to the core to access what I need to reply to the event with positivity, with love, with understanding, with care, with compassion. It depends on what is necessary. But I can only access the best of myself. I can only enter the sacred space within me if I'm detached. Otherwise, I will be caught up in the emotional turmoil. Sometimes it's little, sometimes it's an earthquake, sometimes it's, hurricane. And I won't be able to really express the best that I could and not creating further karma. So the practice of being just an observer. Lately, I was witnessing a situation and I felt like, intervene. And then I thought, no, let me just be a detached observer and spread this kind of energy of benevolence, of peace, because we underestimate the power of the mind. Our mind in each one of us is extremely powerful. Am I using it in that way? Or am I impulsive, get into situation with the idea of solving them? Probably the intention is good, but maybe the way is not so good. So if I'm detached, I can access. It's like it opens the way, the door to those resources, powers and virtue within myself. And then they can emerge. And I can even watch that happen and appreciate them. And appreciating them means I appreciate myself. And within that is the practice of acceptance. Often it's very hard to accept what is dysfunctional, what is negative, accept people doing the wrong things and creating damaging, accepting irresponsibility. But acceptance doesn't mean that you are giving up what is and just let things, be loose or not well. Acceptance means that you are surrendering to what it is, because that's reality. I need to go above the reality. I think it's a wonderful practice to try to go above what is not functional, what is not right, the duality. Because as Roger Cole was saying in the previous episode, ego plays an immense game and sustain duality. Can I move above and sustain unity? Become at one with myself, my positive core, with the Supreme, to whom I just draw energy from. And I make room within myself for that positivity to produce something which is unique and produce a contribute that is unique. Because sometimes, often, acceptance is forced. Like, I accept because I have to. I accept because I don't want to fight. But really, real true acceptance is a journey through the heart, to the heart, from the heart. And therefore, I build a different level of awareness. So those were some practices. And of course, the effect, just look at the time, okay. The effect of being positive, of having positive thoughts, it's immense. We saw many examples like that. We had the fortune of witnessing some teachers, the one that we call seniors, being positive no matter what, being givers no matter what, being in full acceptance of event, drama, no matter what, and seeing the effect of that on people, on whatever will happen, building wonders, and on themselves, growing so much through anything. Anything can happen anytime. So how do I remain stable if not entertaining positive thoughts? And positive thoughts are saving my energy. We don't have so much energy, do we? So I need to save my energy. Negative thinking is consuming energy and depleting the self. Positive thinking is producing energy, or at least sustaining energy. And on a mental level, physical level. And another effect is that I will be more effective, and more responsible, more productive if I'm positive. I remember working in a company many, many years ago. I was only maybe three years in this path, in knowledge with the Brahma Kumaris. And I was studying, because I came when I was still a student. So I was studying, and I was also working partially sometime. So I was called in a company to be there for some months only, for a temporary job. And the person I was working with, I was his assistant. He was the director, administrative director. He was such an angry person. He would shout all the time, people were so scared to go to see him because he would really offend everybody. It was quite challenging for people. But I decided for myself, seeing the context, that I would create every day the best thoughts I could for him. Like, of course, you can't deny he was angry, but I would think he's willing to do the best. He's perfect. Like he likes things to be perfect. He likes order. He likes effectiveness, and he's actually doing his best in his own way. So I didn't allow myself to have negative thoughts for him. And the effect of this was that everybody was coming to talk to me, to release their stress or their pain, having been hurt. And I would just walk with them, listening to them, and try to give them a different perspective. And after 6 months working there, and I was feeling that this was my service there, just keeping everybody as calm and cool as I could. Of course, myself too. And after 6 months, when I left the office, because my term was over, the desk in my office was full of gift, full. I couldn't see the desk. And that was probably the way for them to share gratitude. So when you are positive, you produce gratitude in people. They cool down. They try to change in a way what they couldn't change otherwise. So healthier relationship are there. And relationship plays really major role. And positive is a sign, as this sign, minor and plus. Plus is a positive sign. So that means the horizontal line and the vertical line. And the vertical line, which is the positive sign, otherwise is negative sign. When we add the vertical is positive, is because it indicates two things. Indicates I need to go deeper inside myself, as deeper as I can, to restore the best and to promote positivity. And the higher part is the connection with the divine. I don't know really, personally, for myself, how could I be facing reality? Italy is a very chaotic place. But COVID, the situation of the COVID was extremely challenging. But anything, and I guess every country is the same condition. But I don't really know how could I be facing life if I didn't have this understanding or this knowledge, this opportunity to know and connect with God. And in a way, access His energy and feeling full through meditation. And it's such an incredible gift to give to the self and to allow through the self to give it to people, to implement our level of energy, including absorbing His energy and feeling His love. I don't know how I would have been able to cope with the reality, really. Or maybe, who knows? But so being positive is such simple daily practice of trying to see the self in a way, in essence, check and change. And many thoughts can pass by. It depends it's a choice to stop them and invert the energy from negative ways to positive. For some people, positivity is a naive stuff. Like, how can you be positive? You know, reality is so tough. Positivity is nothing to do with naivety. To be naive is actually wisdom. Wisdom at work is innocence, like a child, but in balance with wisdom. In fact, positivity is very much connected with that balance, being innocent and wise, being a child and a master. Okay, I think I will stop here.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. I was just pondering on that master and child, being innocent and wise. We really don't have a lot of time for questions, but I'll just take one question. It's a very interesting one. The brother is asking that I have a lot of positive thoughts for myself, but I really can't see positivity in other people around. Is this really positivity? And he's asking, is it really ego? Am I egoistic?
Often we hear people saying, you know, I have many good people around, but one person, I can't see anything good in that person. So we all have one triggered, somebody that is a challenge. If I see the goodness in myself and it's real, I will see goodness in people too, when it's real. But if I see goodness in me and not in other, there is something that doesn't match. Because it's by default, if I see goodness in me, I will see in them. That's why the practice of looking at my quality, detecting my quality, practicing the 8 powers, for example, the more I do this really with the consciousness of being a soul and not sustaining ego, but sustaining soul consciousness, then naturally I will appreciate people because I appreciate myself. And it's a mirror. So yeah, there is a portion of ego if I don't see goodness in people. It's like I don't really see the depth of myself in the right way.
Great. So probably the plus sign of positivity, the depth is not there, and even the connection is not there. It's minus. Thank you. That was a good one. I like that plus thing. Okay, so we'll just invite our seniors now, Dr. Ashok Mehta and Sister Claudia, to propose the vote of thanks. So over to you.
Thank you, sister. I think it was an amazing talk. One of the wonderful talks, the last 51 talks.
Thank you.
I liked everything that you said, especially all the 4 stories you told. They will always remain with me. I think storytelling is a way of conveying the best that you want to convey. I always used to tell, whenever I meet doctors, that what attracts me to the Brahma Kumaris. And I say, there are many things, but one thing that I would tell everyone is this is a school of positive thinking. So I think positivity is the strength of our teaching, Baba's teaching. In Hindi, what we say, जो भी होता है कल्याणकारी है. Whatever is happening is for the good. And whatever is not happening good is because of our past karmas. So it's karmic theory. You talked beautifully about witness and being observer. I think all those beautiful stories which you have told, I think the last one, especially when you talked about being innocent and being innocent and wise, a child and a master, I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Enjoyed every bit of sister. I was in Milan about 25 years back. I was trying to recollect. I met you, or I went to the center. I went with a group to Switzerland for a meeting at that time in the south of.
I was in Bologna, which is another center.
Okay, so I missed you out at that time.
Yeah.
Because I was at the Milan Institute of Oncology with Professor Veronesi. So that was at that time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a city, couple of hours away from Milan.
Yeah, that's how I missed you. I've never met you before, as far as I recollect, but I think you were wonderful. I like the English that you speak. It's something like what we talk in India. The Italian in English is much easier to be with rather than being very fast and difficult. I think we share a lot of things. Thank you very much, sister, for bringing the best positivity to all of us. Om Shanti.
Thanks to you. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Antonella. It's
Om
a
Shanti.
pleasure for me to have you with us. Actually, we share something. My grandfather was Italian, so I always have that. In Brazil, we have that Italian blood because I'm from Brazil. So I was really looking to hear you because I never met you before. So I quite like it. There's some points, many points you talked today. I cannot go into all the points, but some was really struck because I like karma philosophy. And then you talk about if I want to be carefree, live a life without worry, I have to pay attention to my karma, to my positive karma. Then that's the way that we can have a carefree life, because life always brings us one thing or the other one. If it's not with us, it's a family member or a friend or whoever. So, but if we pay attention to the karmic account, that everything we do in a positive way, so I can go through all this, but still be carefree. So thank you very much. And I also, like Manoj said, I quite like that positive, the plus, to see how I never thought about that. It's a quite different way of looking, but it's a quite, was very many points. I really thank you for being with us today. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, both of you. And there are many messages coming up. Actually, there are quite a few new people who have joined. So we would request you all to please send your email addresses and WhatsApp numbers. And before we go into the quick meditation, Anu sister, just be ready with the photograph because many people are asking and they are personally sending me messages. And as we had promised, we will try to keep to our promise. We have all new faces for you all. Already 2 new faces since this year have started. So let's go further. Mike George, we know him very well, a very famous author and a management tutor as well, all the way from UK. We were supposed to have him in September. For some reason, there was clash of dates and he was very apologetic. He said, no, I can't do, I'm so sorry. So, well, that's divine drama, we say. So he'll be covering on creativity, which is actually quite a difficult value to speak about. So I'm sure he will do a lot of justice to that the next weekend. And remember, if, the clocks are going back in the US and Canada from tomorrow morning. They will be having an extra hour of sleep Sunday. So from the next Saturday onwards, everything will be a bit to accommodate the West Coast timings. 8:30 p.m. India time instead of 8 p.m. So it fits the Pacific time of 7 a.m. in the morning. So please keep a note of that. No worries, we'll be sending you the emails and links as well. And then we have another new speaker with us, Sister Judy Rich, who is the center coordinator in Calgary, a very creative person, highly artistic person as well. So we'll be having for the workshop, she'll be there with us. And another slight change would be because she's got another clashing program as well, but she wanted to share. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing first her talk and followed by the second hour would be the experiential exercises. So we would request you all to stay on for the experiential exercises because that's what you all like. And as I said, the timings would be, everything in India will be half hour forward. So it's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. India time. So it is the 6:30 a.m. for the West Coast Pacific time. And this is our elusive, elegant calendar. We have tomorrow the Vihasa workshop as well. Sister Kosha and the Mumbai team does it. So if you want to attend, you're welcome to do. It's mentioned here as well. And yeah, I would just want to spend half a minute on this because many people are asking. So all these values workshops are available on this link. If you can click it, I'll just read it out, omshanti.tk and /workshops. And all the episodes of the Values for Life series, they are there on the website of Vihasa India, which is vihasa.in, which you can see it's mentioned here. And also there's a playlist, same omshanti.tk /playlist and /English. It's also in different other languages. It's been translated, and thanks to all the interpreters who are really doing a lot of effort. So we have all the translated versions as well on the website. So you can feel free to visit that. So now I would request Anu sister to take the photograph. Thank you.
Sure. I'll take the photograph. So we want to be with Sister Antonella. So everybody can open the video.
And many thanks to Santosh Bhai, the brother that here has been set up the system. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, sister. So over to you, Manoj.
So thank you so much. So is Santosh Bhai playing some music there, Sister Antonella, or is he playing there?
I don't know if you can play some music, or can you play from inside?
Yeah, I'll play it. Yeah, I'll play that. No problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So we do a short commentary of how long?
5 to 7 minutes is fine. Yeah.
Okay. So I just relax. Remembering my true nature of being a soul. At the center of my forehead, in a hidden room behind the eyes. Watching my thoughts, releasing any tension. Feeling positive within. Feeling the positive energy from all of us. Messengers of positivity, of peace. Absorbing the light of the Supreme and spreading it all around as an invisible message of love, of care. Knowing that it will reach every corner and bring release to people's pain and sorrow. I am a loving being, deeply peaceful, deeply positive, deeply real. And I repeat these thoughts as many times as I can, check in my concentration. I am a loving being, a soul. Simple, positive, real. Positivity is my reality. Love is my nature. Peace is my inner treasure. And again, I'm sending this vibration out in the world. Invoking souls to awaken to the truth of themselves. And experiencing the love that God is sharing with me and everyone. Love is the mother of positivity. And I can feel the immense energy coming from above, feeling the heart, feeling the world. And I remain in this experience. Om Shanti.
So thank you so much once again, Sister Antonella, for the wonderful meditation experience as well, and for your time as well from Gyansu.
Thank you to all of you, and I really enjoyed. Om Shanti. Bye.